So, as you can see by the title, what's going on with Young Buck from G Unit, former, now ex member again. I want to shed some light what I think might be going on, as well as just giving knowledge and as today's words facts. And now people ask, is there proof of this? Look, man, if it's out there, it's out there, what I'm about to say. I'm from Tennessee. I'm 55 miles away from Nashville. And I'm finna tell you exactly what's pretty much going on, why the issue with 50 again. Or what his issue might be. Or the tranny situation. So, let's go back a bit to the beginning. Young Buck once upon a time was signed to Cash Money. You take Birdman as the down south coast version of African Bambaataa. There are stories that do travel down here throughout the South about Birdman and how it is. Now this been going on for quite some time, if not a number amount of years. You're talking about before fame, kind of on that uprise. Now, this ain't the first I heard about this. Now, some older people I had, that I went to school with that I think were, probably their senior years. I could be wrong. Yes, senior years, and I was in my freshman year, and I kind of heard most of them talk about that kind of shit with Birdman. And you go a bit more into, I guess, kind of like the street fame, I guess, of music before you get international. He pretty much did what, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the piano player who's been passed away, Liberace. I don't know if you guys may have seen the movie that somebody did about Liberace. Not too many of his victimized lovers are around. But what he did to that boy, he pretty much molested him. Raped him, took his manhood. And that comes throughout money, jewelry, and drugs. Birdman did the same thing to Lil Wayne. Ain't no doubt about it. Now they can deny the kissing shit, but down here in the South, this is pretty much the gay capital of the world right now, especially here in the U.S. You got Louisiana. It's just not the home of Birdman and Lil Wayne, but Kevin Gates and NBA Youngboy, if you guys have seen the video, NBA Youngboy Funny Style that I did on his channel, why do you think he hits women? Because he doesn't like women like he likes his men. You have a guy who's Kevin Gates tattooed on you. They've been known to kiss from what I've seen. I think there was like a picture, video, something surface of that, if I remember correctly. But then you got two pictures of where NBA Youngboy's lover's kissing him on his neck in the club, and then NBA Youngboy kissing him back. The same thing, with Kevin Gates. What do you think him and NBA Youngboy doing? The home of Louisiana, Funny Style. Here in Tennessee, we the home of the fags. Several years ago, when gay rights were passed by Obama, and the video that you guys seen about the title "Keeping It in the Family" pretty much goes into this part. We don't like girls, man. We rather fuck with a chick with a dick, a nigga, and a wig. If you a female, get the fuck away, because we don't want you. Just like the girls don't want the guys down here. They'd rather have a woman. Now, you may have a kid with a family member, because we keep it in the family. If you're an outsider, we don't give a fuck about you. We'll just use you for money. If it so happens that we have a kid together as a insider from an outsider, we gonna do everything in our power to keep the kid. And you know, there are a majority of women that you do stay away from, especially breeders. I don't know how many guys know what a breeder is, but maybe that's a subject for another time about certain women you just gotta really stay away from. A good majority of us down here have been known to marry our family members. Why do you think most of us look the same? Why do you think you always hear about, oh, well, we're married by blood, or to marriage on this part of the family that's related to this half of the family? That's us down here. There's a good traveling line, literally and figuratively, from Atlanta, Georgia, from the red light district. So I have a partner who's from Atlanta. A good majority of the females that you see who are prostitutes or hookers or strippers are men who are trannies. A chick with the dick, a nigga in a wig, who come up through Memphis. And already I'm snitching out on Memphis just by saying that. Through Columbia. Now, when it comes to that part here within Columbia, we gonna mess with that man. Now, we don't know about if you want to wear a wig. We don't want that. We just want the full fucking man figure with the dick. You feel what I'm saying? But a good majority of us within the Columbia area, from Memphis, Columbia, Tennessee, especially in Columbia, we keep it in the family. So you're an outsider to us. Now, some of us that are lonely, yeah, we may fuck you. You know, and we talking about the trannies. You feel what I'm saying? But a good majority from the trannies from Atlanta pass here to go to Nashville to do business. Just like the ones from Nashville come down to Atlanta. You see what I'm saying? Just like as we go now into, you know, Buck when signed to Cash Money, he stayed down in Louisiana. He fucked with Juvie Birdman. Right? There are stories once coming from New York when people called in from the Star Report. Also, Memphis. Talking about Buck and how he is. He chose not to fuck with the females. We want the trannies. Those from Columbia, Nashville, to Atlanta, Louisiana, he pretty much ain't gonna say much about it. Now, if you go into the video about why the South doesn't have heroes, that pretty much covers this part. Why we don't got heroes. Because we don't have the type of people like up north to guide us on the come up. We don't have block star street heroes. Our heroes are the neighborhood crackheads. So we don't know right from wrong down here. And to give like a quick brief of the video that goes in that, yeah, we pump fake down here in the South. We really don't do anything about shit. We prefer the drugs. We like to be high. We like to do any drug out there because we crackheads. Our babies come from us. They come up to be crack babies. So niggas up north give us that work, and we ain't really gonna do shit, to be honest. We ain't. Because of that, when it comes to now money And as you know by the part, around the time Buck stayed a good majority of his G-Unit life career up north. He stayed up north. So he stayed on the East Coast in New York a lot. He stayed with 50 in his Connecticut mansion, along with all the G-Unit people, right? Spider Loc said Buck is on some of that funny shit when he came to the West Coast several times. Okay? So that's just the sexuality of it all. And now it comes into the financial part. If you guys ain't getting that, Buck like dudes. He likes trannies, not women. You can have, gay or bisexual. You're going to want a child. Now, you can have a child with the person, but you're going to want to do everything in your power to have rights to have that child. And you're going to be raising that child around with your same-sex lover. You see what I'm saying? And that child's going to grow up to be the same way, if not worse. The shit down here, we advertise it and we sell it. If you look up the video, I think what's it called, Hip Hop Selling Sexuality to Kids Today's, I believe. It gives a lot into that. Now within the finance, down here in the South, we have no people to guide us right from wrong. So when we get money, again, we're not hustlers down here. We delusional about it. Because a good majority of us, again, we pump fake down here in the South. Our hood heroes are crackheads. So we idolize to be them. Money that we get is not from streets per se. What we get usually from borrowing or SSI money. A lot of it, we spend drinking it up, smoking it up, popping it up, snorking it up, or shooting it up. In other words, we shooting heroin. If you guys don't get those phrases of what I'm saying, you guys should. By drinking, I'm talking alcohol. Alcohol is a drug. Smoking, I'm talking about smoking weed, or smoking crystal meth. Popping it up, I'm talking about doing pills. Snorking up, I'm talking about cocaine. Shooting it up, I'm talking about shooting in heroin, needles in the arm. Or we blow money on shit like rims down here. We blow it on a lot of clothes. We blow it mainly on the club. That's why we're not financially smart down here. So we don't know what to do when we have money. We tend to really ignore our kids when the money comes, so we do neglect our children down here in the South. I'm speaking truth. With that, when it's now time for things to be owned in terms of rent, then you got bills, not just the responsibility of your child that you've been neglecting, but now you got taxes. We ain't got shit to give with all of that. So that's why we spend a majority of our life in jail for child support or prison when it comes to taxes. From what I just said. So then, the woman that we tend to have a kid with who's been hooked up with another bitch, we tend to blame her for our actions. We blame her because we doing the drugs. We blame her because, this is what happened with the money. No. So what we do, we don't really care much for our women down here in the South. So we do fight them. We'd rather fight our women than we do our men. So we beat or pistol whip the shit out of our women. But we want to point others for the blame. Because of that, good mental health illnesses are down here within the South. Which goes into this. I believe Buck, what he is going through, might be one. I think he might just be bipolar. I'm bipolar. I think what he goes through is having blackouts. I get blackouts. When you just black out and you you're saying a lot of shit. You're going off. One, no, actually three. Medication goes into that. I'm on medication. Medication is drugs. Medication releases chemicals into just not the system, but the brain, that causes a person to act the way they do. Along with that, we go through suicidal depression, which I go through, and I believe Buck, I don't think he's suicidal, but I do believe he is going through some type of depressed stage, right? Then, the in denial, which he does not want to live up to his truth, so he wants to fight out a lot of people who are calling him out. Like, you got I can't remember dude's name, man. Who the fuck? Cook Up Boss. Well, Cook Up Boss is making fun of Buck because he likes guys. Now, whether or not if you gay, bi, or straight, you're entitled to what you want. Now, Cook Up Boss is a whole fucking bitch down here in Tennessee. He ain't about shit. So when Buck actually showed his gangster, Cook Up Boss didn't show up to where Buck pulled up at, to where supposedly Cook Up Boss said he was at. But when it comes down here to fight, we don't really fight. We just lock up. Some local artists down here have been actually known to beat Buck's ass on some shit. Buck isn't actually... I believe he goes through, within this part, maybe personality disorder. Because there are some stories where he's known to get out of line and people think, look, man, I may know who you are, but you ain't going to be getting shit for free or barking around talking shit. And that's what we also do down here in the South. Because of that, those that come up from North, that come down here in the South, we do fuck with them, and they the wrong people to fuck with. That's why up North niggas give down South niggas at work. And Buck's been known to get his ass handed to him. Also, there's going to come to a certain time, because you have to stop hanging around a lot of the hood street niggas. Sometimes you do have to grow from that. You got to grow beyond that, because down here in the South, we know what's going on with Buck. He's hanging out with a lot of the deadbeat losers on the block. I still fuck with his music and all that. I'm cutting people off, this and that and third. No, you still fucking around with the same people. You still giving them your money. Is that we do? We do give people money down here. So, you know, the guys that mean that's going around, how y'all saying your hustles when y'all broke, y'all giving out the money? Yeah, that's what we do. We give out the money, and we claim that as hustling. You got maybe like a year before you hit your 40s, man. So, we hang around with a lot of the crackheads down here. That's what we do. We sit on this porch, talk shit, get high. Because of that, he's lost in his own self. There's only so much a person can take to help somebody with that, until you realize that person don't want help, and it's going to destroy them, and then it's literally going to kill them in some way. So you gotta understand why 50 blocked Buck sued him, because Buck lost his fucking mind. I believe he has some mental illnesses and he needs some help. I'm not talking about professional help, because they don't care. He has to want it himself and help himself. 50 don't want to go back through that. The part of business, okay, this is what you made off a lot of these other things coming up. I took my cut. Here's yours. You got taxes that are coming up. So you got to get into your money. And again, when I was talking about the taxes thing, we're irresponsible with finances down here. So what Buck is thinking to himself, I shouldn't have to pay taxes. Well, here's the thing. You made some money. 50 took a cut before my phone cut off where I was at. Now, I'm kind of going to backtrack a bit, right? Let me get this right here. So, when it comes to the financial part, right? You know, 50 Cent, he a smart guy. And when us down here in the South, when we see somebody smart and intelligent, we're going to want to hate on that, because to us, it sounds like coonery because we ain't that smart. Because again, we have nobody to guide us. However, taking to the things that I did say before my phone did cut out during the last couple of parts, right? Buck's almost 40 years old. No one's stealing money. This is how the business aspect works. I do music. I have a partner who managed a ton of artists back in the days. And the thing is, when you sell, okay, how can I put it? When you sell either a single or the full project, you're going to make back some money. You know, if you sell it, if a single sells for about, I think, 20 cents a single. A full project, when it comes out, you collect 35 cents off of that. And I think maybe $1 per streaming, right? So once all that is collected within about a week to a month's notice, as in, you get those invoices in, like, these are the total of units that were streamed and sold. Now, the label has to take money out of that, right? So, I'm going to use Lil Wayne as this example. Lil Wayne is signed to Cash Money Records, then you have Young Money. Well, above them is Universal. So, Cash Money is signed to Universal Music. So, Universal is going to collect that money first. Now, Universal is going to take a chunk out, boom, that's going to go into Universal's pockets. And they're going to send the rest of the money to Birdman. Now, it's up to Birdman, okay, to figure out this. Okay, not only do I got to take out money to put into the Cash Money label for the next thing, but then I got to pay Lil Wayne. I got to make sure Wayne puts money into Young Money for the next projects, especially for his artists. That Wayne has to take that money and break it into whoever is on Young Money, right? On top of that, you got to take away $35,000 each time for taxes. Everything that you do for the whole entire year. Now, we knew 50 was underneath Aftermath and Shady Aftermath. We do know he's now out of those. So it's just him and his brand, right? Which means he doesn't really have to worry about splitting it so many different ways. So, this is how it works. Everything that Buck is doing, it's going to get added up within those whole months that pass by. Especially to a year with what you're going to make in total. So, through that whole year, 50's taking his cut, which goes into the G Unit brand itself. That's going to go to whatever Buck's going to do if he needs financial backing with it. Right? Because there's going to be that label account. And people's names are going to be connected to the account. Not just 50's, not just Bucks, not just Yayo's, Banks, Uncle Murder, or Kid and Paris in the game at the time. Of course, now we do know over the years a lot of them have went. So now it's 50, Uncle Murder, and Tony Yayo. And what happens is this. That money's not going to get touched. That's not money to get touched. Now, if you need some money to say, man, I got this next project, that's what that money's for, and you get a certain amount out. That means any one of them could go into it. But 50 got his own money, so he ain't going to need that. Now, we heard about Buck doing this before, going into the G-Unit account. After that split, Buck's going to get paid his money. It's up to Buck to put away, again, $35,000 each time for that full year for taxes. But down here in the South, we don't intend to do that. That's why we get caught up in having to get foreclosure on a house in due time. Because we don't have that type of guidance down here. So taking everything I said into consideration within the first half of this video and in this one, and that's really all what's been going on with Buck. He's afraid to live his truth. He likes guys. He likes messing with niggas with dicks. Or no, chicks with dicks. Niggas with wigs. I believe he's going through some kind of mental illness. Rather if it's a bipolar depression, personality disorder, depression. There are drugs that are going to be in play. On top of that, you hanging around with the same deadbeat motherfuckers like before, who don't really give a shit about you. They just want the money from you. So you still keep it in the hood when you could grow beyond that, but you refuse to grow from that. You see what I'm saying? So no one's stealing money. The problem is, people get fucked up. When you come into a lot of money, especially down here in the South, you don't know what to do. So that whole thing with Wayne, and here's a good example about Birdman stealing money. Birdman wasn't stealing money. Thing is, Wayne was spending all his money on jewelry, cars, and drugs. And I explained about this before. I do believe in why the South ain't got heroes. I do believe. But because you so hyped up on drugs at the time from that early age of, you know, getting paid something, and over the years, as it kept going, you're going to get so lost in the limelight and the money, you ain't going to know who you are. So you're going to be saying a lot of this shit that ain't going to make sense. Wayne is confused because his brain cells are pretty much gone. He's a full-on crackhead, man. Once he was, I don't know how many guys remember this interview, but he's very old. I remember it a long time ago, man. One part of the interview, they asked him where he from. I'm from California. I don't know how many people remember that. And then he kind of repeated himself a bit, and he's like, man, I'm from New York. Then once the interview, you know, again throughout the interview, well, you know, where I'm from, Louisiana. Nigga, where the fuck is you from? You see? So you got things like that to play into account because drugs go into that. Now, you also take Birdman, who doesn't tend to fuck people over, because over at least 30 artists came from Birdman over the years, and they got stories they can literally share and tell that are out there on why they ain't fucking with this dude, who he actually is. Now, do I believe to a good majority that he was stealing from Wayne? Probably. Yeah, it ain't going to surprise me. So what's the best way to cover up that money? Again, this is what we do in the South. If we stealing from you, which we do, we're going to want to cover it up by buying you something. So that's what also Birdman was doing. Let's take into another example. Kid Kid. There's a reason why 50 Cent dropped Kid Kid from G-Unit. Kid Kid from Louisiana. Kid Kid's a heavy alcoholic. He's so fucked up on this shit. Thing was, he tried to finesse 50. He already finessed the XXL freshman list. He was on XXL way back in the day when he was with, I think, Young Money or Cash Money. And he still had management with other things that he was doing. Right? Until one day, there was about to be a lawsuit that came in. 50's like, what the fuck is this? So once it was looked into, Kid Kid and his management tried to finesse and screw 50 over on money and try to make it seem like Kid Kid was losing money. Now, was Kid Kid losing money? No, what he was doing, actually, he was spending a lot of his money. Now, on the other side of this coin, per se, Kid Kid has a spending problem. A good majority of his shit that you always see was with heavy liquor. And 50's always trying to tell his boys, you know, hey man, rather than spending your money on cars and jewelry and things of that nature, put your money into something that you really like, something that you know you can have investment in, because you don't know how long you're going to last in this game, and you're going to need some finances coming in. Kid wasn't doing that. So he was spending his money on a lot of liquor. I do believe there were drugs involved along with Kid, but you ain't again, you're not going to get a receipt from your drug dealer that you're going to buy from. No. And he also hanging around, again, a lot of the same deadbeats from before who really ain't this shit for you. You giving them money. And then once shit finally came crashing down where you knew you were about to lose, then your manager stole from you, dropped you, left the fuck out with a shit ton of cash. Now 50 drop you, and now you owing a shit ton of money. And then wants to point the blame on everyone else. Some people may even go into consideration and say, well, what do you consider into consideration with Buck that wants to work with Ross and Game? Well, Ross from down south. Ross is funny style himself. There's actually a real picture, there's a real picture of him and Diddy kissing. Why do you think Buck wants to be with him? Why do you think Buck wants to do business with him? Take the Game, for example. Game is an ex-male stripper. You really see him with a lot of dudes with his shirt off. You don't see him with a lot of women. Or barely any women at all. Think about it. Game hangs around with a lot of dudes with no shirt off. Used to be an ex-stripper. Why do you think Buck wants to hang around? And throughout all of that being said, to wrap this up, sometimes people may never learn. And it may take longer for others, and sometimes it might be so foregone to them that the shit that they are doing, the people that they hang around, is going to be not just their downfall, but also leading to their death. That could be in any type of form. Suicide, drug overdose, or somebody that's going to set you up. Or could even lose to life in prison. So now with tax time coming around, Buck found himself in the same position as before, because he's bringing it and doing it to himself. So don't be surprised matter of fact, don't be surprised when the time comes when you hear about Buck now going into, still in bankruptcy, have to file it again. Losing the house again. Having to auction off things again to pay for taxes. Giving up his name. Giving up all the music that he has done to pay taxes. And then once all said and done, you're going to be sitting in prison for a very long time. I think, like, for taxes, depending, I think, whatever state you in, it's mainly 5 years, sometimes a bit longer. But they're going to look into other old charges and add to the new charges along with that as well. And you still on papers, you still on probation with shit. Your piss, as well as your DNA from your blood when you do the drugs, that shit is still in there. It don't just go away, because the stuff goes into your blood cells within to your bloodstream. That shit just don't pass. It's in there. Believe it or not, they do test blood samples. So when you have to go on there and not just give just the swab, piss, and blood sample. I've been have to do that before. It's going to show up fucking dirty. And then once you find yourself behind those bars, if not dead, like we do down here in the South, we going to want to point the finger at the next motherfucker and blame them for our shit, because We don't like taking responsibility down here. With all that being said, that's what's going on with Buck. And I don't think he can ever really fix himself, man. I extremely do not. So, with that being said, man, I'm out.